By 1996, Eminem's personal life was in turmoil. His relationship with his mother had completely broken down, and he and his girlfriend Kim were struggling to support their newborn daughter.
He was working as a cook. They were completely struggling just to get a house in a pretty bad part of town, like where they had a crackhead who broke in constantly and bullets came through the window a couple times, stuff like that. They were like barely making ends meet.
Although the 25-year-old was becoming a fixture on Detroit's hip-hop scene, his recording career was off to a slow start.
His first album, Infinite, had completely done nothing, and it wasn't working, and nobody cared, and the album bombed.
With work stalled and his personal life imploding, Marshall needed to do something. He created the hip-hop alter ego called Slim Shady.
Kick it.
It took the catalyst of all these pressures to force him to figure out how to say what he really meant.
Slim Shady is the beast who says exactly what he wants and exactly what he feels and has no filter.
Eminem is the rapper, and Slim Shady is the id and the anger and the guy who wants to slit your throat, but he'll also make you fall down laughing at the same time.
Eminem introduced his new persona on 1996's Slim Shady EP, and no one was safe from his brutally personal attacks, including the love of his life.
The song Just the Two of Us takes this idea of a love song and twist that inside out and write about these horrible, grisly things.
He was having problems with Kim, and in his song, he decides to put his baby daughter in the front seat and take her to the lake where he's going to dump her mother's body, who's currently in the trunk. Definitely different.
Eminem hoped the Slim Shady EP would attract fans and possibly the attention of a major label. It failed to do either and sold a mere 5,000 copies. But he did gain one important fan, Wendy Day, who had made a career of giving exposure and business advice to young hip-hop artists.
Em's at a music conference in Detroit, and Wendy Day comes. She's in charge of the rap coalition. So she shows up, and Em approaches her with this demo tape, and he kind of, hey, nice to meet you, here's my tape.
Got in the car, I popped his cassette in, got maybe halfway through the first song. It was just unbelievably good. I mean, that kid could rhyme ridiculously. And we actually made a U-turn across the median of the highway.
So she invited Eminem to come down to LA and participate in the Hip Hop Olympics, which was going to be this very traditional battle-style melodrama of hip-hop.
Eminem was in no position to turn down the invitation. The contest promised a $500 prize, money he could definitely use. The night before he flew to LA, Eminem's life had hit a new low.
It was a last chance moment, no doubt about it. He had been evicted. Kim and Haley, who was very young, moved in with her parents. He tells this story about the night before he was supposed to get on a plane that Wendy paid for. She bought him the ticket to even get to LA, and breaking into this house that used to be his and like sleeping on the floor in the cold and getting up and going to the airport. I mean, that was how bad things were.
But on the 27th of October 1997, Eminem entered LA's Proud Bird nightclub 30 seconds, Eminem, go. And began taking down the competition one by one.
Yes, y'all. Em could hold his own. Aside from the fact that he had great punchlines and he was funny as hell, he had the ability to make fun of himself before somebody else did. So you couldn't really diss him for being white because he had already dissed himself for being white.
Before the whole thing's over, they're cheering, they're cheering him on. They're like, he took it. He's the guy. Like after he rapped, they knew it. He was the dude who ran the show that night.
All right. Eminem. Yo. Slow down.
Eminem survived the first two rounds and progressed to the quarterfinals. Success seemed within his grasp.
So what you want to have happen is like he shows up in LA and triumphs and it's so awesome and melodramatic. No, that's not what happened.
He didn't win.
Eminem, stop! Give me that motherfucking mic!
It came down to the crowd having to vote and be the deciding factor. And there was a California rapper who was very, very good. He was the hometown favorite. You know, there were no Detroit folks in the audience.
I've seen the footage, and the crowd is going crazy when M does his thing. I don't know. I mean, in the end, he didn't win.
He'd lost the battle he couldn't afford to lose. But before the end of the evening, fate would take a remarkable turn.
Afterwards, he was backstage somewhere, and he had all these tapes of his demo or whatever, and some kid asked him for it, and he kind of like chucked it at him like, yeah, whatever, you know, like he's in this moment of being really pissed off of like, you know, for not winning this really important event, and some annoying kid is asking him for his demo.
The annoying kid, however, worked for major label Interscope Records.
There was an intern from Interscope there who got one of the tapes, and it ended up back in the Interscope office, and Jimmy Iovine, the head of the label, heard it.
Jimmy gives it to Dr. Dre, who hears the tape, and he thinks, we got to get this kid in here.
Dr. Dre was Andre Young, a legendary hip-hop producer and rapper who was signed to Interscope Records.
Dr. Dre made his name as a member of NWA, who really established gangster rap, hardcore rap. And then when NWA fell apart, Dre refocused and created his first album, The Chronic, which may be the most important hip-hop album ever released.
So meanwhile, in Detroit, Eminem's producers, the guys that had worked on his earlier releases, get this call from somebody at Interscope. So they go to him and they say,
Interscope wants to make an appointment with you. And Eminem was like, an appointment? Okay. And the producer said to him, yeah, they want you to meet with a doctor.
And Em's like, now you're just fucking with me. He knows very well who the doctor in question is, and he knows the doctor is in, and he knows that he has an appointment coming up real soon.
When he first flew out to Los Angeles to meet with Dre, I think it was a shock. You know, he was in a dream state, like he couldn't believe what was going on.
Dre apparently thought he was black and was really stunned when he came in, and it was a little nerdy-looking white kid.
M pretty much sat there through the whole meeting and really didn't say anything. Dre sort of was the one who liked to kind of try to break the ice because he wanted to get him right in the studio, but he just didn't think Eminem liked him.
Finally, Dre says, you know, what's the deal? You know, talk to me here. We're just trying to get to know each other. And he says, dude, what do you expect, man? You're Dr. Dre. Like, I'm blown away. I don't have any speech. You know, it's my job to rap, but right now I can't say a word.
Eminem may not have won over Dr. Dre with his social graces, but the producer saw potential. He signed Eminem to his Interscope subsidiary label Aftermath and put him in the studio.
They worked really well together. You know, Dre played him a few different things, and M just, like, went for it.
They spent 6 hours in the studio and did 3 songs. One of those songs was My Name Is.
They did My Name Is really early on, and the bass line had this kind of like weird, happy, goofy quality to it, and he was just like, all right, my name is. And he just sort of kept saying that over and over and over again, just like, all right, my name is. And everybody was cracking up. It was kind of the perfect way to announce himself.
Hi, my name is what? My name is who? My name is...
It did come together pretty quickly. Immediately, they knew that they had something.
In January, the label delivered a video for the single My Name Is to MTV. If the network agreed to play it, Eminem's career would be up and running. At first, the network wasn't sure how the upstart rapper fitted into their programming.
We were in a music meeting watching My Name Is. People in the music department at MTV were thoroughly entertained by it, but at the end of the meeting, there was this sort of general consensus of like, well, we don't really know what to do with this guy. I had just created a show called TRL at the time. We were a show that was the only hour on MTV where the youth, kids, actually picked the videos that were on. We got together as a show and said to the music department, well, we'd like to have it. This is perfect for us. I remember playing for the first time, and it was a huge hit immediately.